Will you please bring the House to order?
A quorum being presented, the House will come to order. Bill number A01975. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill number A01975 by Assembly Member Rosick. An act to amend the education law in relationship to establishing the Education Equity Act.
Annually, students of Latino and Hispanic descent from across New York State interested in expanding their horizons can participate in the Angelo Del Toro Puerto Rican Hispanic Youth Leadership Institute.
Will the sponsor please rise?
Parental involvement in education is one of the most important factors of a child's success in school. However, with more than 200 languages spoken in New York State, many parents are prevented from meaningfully participating in their children's education by their inability to speak English. In New York City, for example, more than 43% of students' families speak a language other than English at home.
The Institute's purpose is to foster the leadership skills of Latino students and to introduce them to New York State's legislative process.
Reached their full potential. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Assemblyman Michael.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Michael Cruz. I am from the Capital District Delegation, and I represent Assemblymember Peter Lopez. I stand against this bill because it doesn't include non-English speaking minorities.
The first phase consists of trainings in regional delegations. School districts and community agencies are contacted, and students are nominated by the school to participate in the training.
I represent Assembly Member Angelo Santa Barbara. Referring back to what my former colleague Nicholas stated, I am in favor of this bill because it will provide translation services to non-English speaking parents with children enrolled in the New York State schools, and according to the Research Center for Parent Involvement.
Qualifications for nomination include leadership potential, good academic standing, and interest in participating in training activities.
It's a really good program. I like meeting so many new people and being able to actually talk about politics, because I used to have absolutely no interest whatsoever, and now I hear people talking about things such as the Common Core, and I can say what I think because I know what it is and I know more about it.
Final selection for the Institute is based on the ability to participate in group process, attendance, and active participation at the local training meetings.
Assemblyman Mario.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Mario Vasquez. I am from the Capital District Delegation. I represent Assemblymember Didi Barrett, and I stand against this bill.
Regional weekly training consists of sessions addressing team building, leadership, PRHYLI history, communication and public speaking, how a bill becomes law, parliamentary assembly procedures, analysis and study of bills, identifying community issues, knowing your representatives, writing a winning scholarship essay for PRHYLI, debating party views, and practice sessions.
Raise your hand. All in favor of this bill say yay. Yay. All against this bill say nay. The bill has passed.
At the conclusion of the regional delegation training, a select group of students will be invited to a legislative mock session where students take over the New York State Assembly chambers to debate actual bills impacting their communities.
Miss Majority Leader.
Let me begin with outlining the schedule for today. First, after have discussed the warm-up bill, we're going to follow with bill number 7994. After that, bill number 1975. The following one will be 1970. And then the last one will be 5194.
Bill number A07994. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill number A07994 by Assemblymember Graff. An act to amend the education law in relation to the Common Core State Standards Initiative and the Race to the Top program.
Will the sponsor please rise?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Eliana Espinoza from the Suffolk Delegation. The Common Core plainly has been found to be ineffective and age inappropriate. At the high school level, students are moving away from actual learning and are focusing on data collection and standardized testing. This one-size-fits-all standard undermines the very value of difference that our great state cherishes. And it does not accommodate to special needs students or advanced learners. Financially, the funds required to implement the Common Core exceed the funds received from the Race to the Top program. And many schools struggle financially to adjust materials and training to the new standards. The key factor, however, is the children. Our children are not common, so why should the education be? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I will now open the floor for questions to the sponsor. Please rise if you have a question. Assemblymember Bookwald.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Jazz Ramirez from the Hudson Valley delegation, and I represent Assemblymember David Buckwall. Will the sponsor yield to a question? What is the level of New York State education with respect to the rest of the country?
According to the American Legislation Exchange Council, New York ranks 10th out of the 50 states and the District of Columbia, the 6 different points of educational proficiency.
Assemblymember Hawley.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Alexis Santiago of the Monroe delegation. I represent Assemblyman Stephen Hawley. I rise in favor of this bill. It is simple. The Common Core is ineffective and unpopular. Currently, Common Core teaches for a test. And because of that, rather than having engaging, young, youthful population that's ready for the world, we have kids who know how to take a test. I urge you, I implore all of you to support this bill and vote for it so we can strike down Common Core together. The choice is in our hands and we have the power. Use it. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I can see the floor.
Assemblymember Maggie.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Jennifer Defoe, and I am from the Syracuse delegation, and I represent Assemblyman William Maggie. I wish to speak against the bill for the following reason. During a college tour I recently attended, I noticed a numerous amount of students were not eligible to attend some of the institutions we visited. This is due to the imbalance of requirements and standards between student schools and higher education institutions. What is the point of sending our children to school every day if they are not being prepared properly for college and the workforce? I firmly believe the Common Core and Race to the Top programs will help fill this gap. I therefore urge the members not to vote in favor of this bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Karen Lopez from the Nassau delegation, and I proudly represent Assemblymember Hooper. I rise in favor for this bill. It is time for New York State to withdraw the Common Core as it dehumanizes education by making standardized testing a priority. Madam Speaker, education should not be solely based on hardcore facts. And now that we're talking about facts, the opposing side will claim that the Common Core will increase our graduation rates. The reality is that there is no credible and concrete data to prove this. However, what we do know is that schools have not been provided with sufficient funding to adequately prepare their staff to properly implement the Common Core. As the representative for Assemblywoman Hooper, I had the opportunity to talk to administrators and teachers in the schools in the 18th district. The administrators and teachers immediately stated that not enough money has been provided to effectively implement the Common Core. Now, is it a coincidence that these schools are considered low-income schools? I think not. What is this telling us? Clearly, the Common Core has to go.
According to the Washington State Office, Common Core would run the state.
You need to wrap up your argument.
Common Core would run the state nearly $300 million. California, with comparable demographics to New York, places its figures at nearly $759 million. That money always comes from taxpayers. By implementing Common Core, all we would be doing is putting a further burden on taxpayers. Thank you.
Assemblymember Rosa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Miguel Hernandez from the New York City delegation, representing Assemblywoman Gabriela Rosa. I stand in opposition to this bill due to the fact that already 46 of the 50 states have already adopted the Common Core. Unfortunately, when I moved to the great city of New York, I came from one of the 4 states that had not adopted the Common Core standards. The transition was difficult for me, but it challenged me and motivated me to do my best. The Common Core not only challenges students, but it encourages students' creativity through the group works implemented by the Common Core. There should not be a budget on the ability of students to challenge themselves academically. That is why, my fellow colleagues, I urge you to vote against this bill.
A motion to end the debate period has occurred and has been seconded. All of those in favor of closing the debate period say aye. Those opposed say nay. Division has been called. Clerk must count the votes. Those who are in favor of closing this debate period, please rise at this moment. Clerk, please count. Please take a seat. Now, all those opposed to ending this debate period, please rise. The ayes have it. We will now be closing this debate period. All in favor of bill number A07994, please say aye. All opposed to bill number A07994, say nay. The ayes have it. The bill has been passed. Bill number A01975, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill number A01975 by Assembly Member Rozek, an act to amend the education law in relation to establishing the Education Equity Act.
Will the sponsor please rise?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Xavier Montalvo from New York City Delegation, representing Assembly Member Rosick. I will proceed to read the justification of the bill. Parental involvement in education is one of the most important factors of a child's success in a school. However, with more than 200 languages spoken in New York State, many parents are prevented from meaningfully participating in their children's education by their inability to speak English. This legislation will require school districts to provide basic translation service in 2 languages spoken by 2% or more of the population of the district. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I will now open the floor for questions to the sponsor. Assembly Member Hennessy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Will the sponsor yield to a question?
Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker, but I want to yield my question to my co-sponsor.
Which specific co-sponsor?
Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh. Assembly Member Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yes, I will yield to the question. The Commissioner's Regulation, Part 154, sets standards for education of English language learners. Wouldn't it be better to get the Board of Regents to change the regulations rather than pass this expensive bill?
Well, passing this bill is essential. Since if the bill that is already in place will have worked, then this bill will not be in place. That is one of the reasons. Number 2, lack of parental involvement has shown effects. In today's schools, there are many schools that show in surveys that the lack of parental involvement affects the children's success in academics. And this was seen as in a survey recently conducted by the National Statistics of Education Department, which shows that 43% of the schools surveyed expressed a lack of parental involvement in the schools, in the child's education, preventing the children from succeeding in their progress. So this law will enable better improvement in the parents' involvement in their child's education, and thus improvement in the child's progress in their academics.
Are there any more questions? Assemblymember Mosley.
Would any state grant or funding be given to those school districts that do not have the money for this type of program?
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, the funds that are going to be used to implement this law are very few, are very low, and the reason why is because this law can be implemented using electronic devices. So we can use the websites in order to post the information, translated information that then parents can access very easily. This will cost very minimum cost. So the schools that do not have the funds sufficient to implement this law will be given the opportunity to post all of this translated information on the website.
All those in favor of ending the question period say aye.
Assemblymember Curran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am Aslan Avila from Freeport High School from the NASA delegation. I represent Assemblymember Curran. I rise in favor of this bill because in New York there is a lot of diversity, especially because New York is the capital of the world. Parents have the right to know what goes on with their kids and their education. Understanding is key to be informed and to be informative. Parents can feel part of not only their child's lives, but the community as well. It also creates more jobs to help the economy grow. And what better to have a community that socializes and has better communication. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Mario Vasquez, and I am from the Capital District delegation, and I represent Assemblywoman Dee Barrett, and I am in favor for this bill because in Article 17, Section 1 of the New York State Constitution, it states the aid and care and support of the needed are public concerns and shall be provided by the state and by such of its subdivisions, and in such manner and by such means as the legislator made for time to determine. Meaning that any needs for parents of students will have to be met because of what it says on the state constitution. Because they need to know what their child is learning, so they will be able to help them and become a better student. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Assemblymember Friend.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Kenneth Vreeland. I am from the Syracuse delegation, and I represent Assemblyman Christopher Friend. I am in favor of adopting the bill. The unfortunate prospect of poor communication has been a nuisance like cucarachas in many communities. Not only is it a problem for parents who struggle with the English language, but their children and their education take a substantial blow as well. According to USA Today, 87% of Hispanics prioritize higher education, but only 13% have college degrees. In order to set a strong foundation, one essential ingredient is clear communication. With proper cooperation, we can set an example for communities not only in New York, but this country, and give those who are smart, new to this country, or even mentally challenged the opportunities they deserve. Given the preceding evidence, I beseech the members of this assembly to vote in favor of this bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
A motion to end the debate period and has been seconded. All of those in favor of closing the debate period say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Nay. The ayes have it. We're going to move on. Clerk, read the last section.
This act shall take effect on the 118th day after it shall have become a law.
All in favor of bill number A01975, please say aye. Aye. All opposed to bill number A01975, say nay. The ayes have it. The bill has been passed.